Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back if you're returning. I'm starting off today with these tips. I'm going to flip them around so I can get a flared square moon cut. Sometimes that's a tongue twister. So I'm just showing you that I need a C-curve to do this. I'm going to show you how they fit, how you want to have your tips sidewall to sidewall. This is what we mean when we say that. So it looks like it's growing out of your own nail. Then I put on my UNT. I glued these tips on backwards, shaped them to fit my nails, and then I put my UNT base coat on, 2 layers, air dry in between. And this is the set I'm trying to recreate, you guys. I made this set myself a little over a year ago. And I wouldn't say recreate, but I've always wanted to redo it because here are the things I'm going to be using. Pardon me. So, because I didn't think I showed enough of the lace. I didn't think I did a bad job with the glitter on the pinky. I'm going to use this foil from Profiles Backstage. This foil from Profiles Backstage. I love this foil. They don't sell it anymore, so I'm very frugal with this. Nina's Clear Bomb Nails Champagne Toast. When I saw this glitter, I had to have it, and I knew that I needed to use it for this set. You see the little divot there? That's exactly how much glitter I flung across the room, trying not to show how annoyed I was that I did that. I'm using 2 different sets of black and gold hearts because some of the gold and black hearts are actually kind of transparent, which is kind of cool. These are gold on one side and like a black shadow on the other. Perfect for the set. Thank you, Lisa. Again, her bling, same with that gold. Young Nails glue. I wanted to show you, not polished. The reason I'm showing you this is because it's like Macart, where you can do it 2 different ways. This way with the precision tip, or you can unscrew it and use the brush. But I wanted to show you this brush. When you see these little tiny hairs at the bottom, that's how all not polished liner brushes are. That's how come you can get such fine work with them. This Mr. Lonely is a black with a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of shimmer, like a gold shimmer, so it was perfect. You can't really see the gold shimmer once it's applied, but I did. It was cold in my nail room. I'm working with black, and you guys know my struggle with that. So I had left the black sitting in front of a room heater. I set my armrest in front of it so that it would be level right with the blasting heat. So my acrylic itself, the actual powder, was warm. My monomer, I also sat next to the powder, just not for as long. The room where I have it at, it's kind of a room we keep closed, so it's not the same temperature as the house even. It's cold in there. So all day, overnight, I left that acrylic sitting there, and then for a couple of hours, I set the monomer there. I also used monomer enhancer, which helps your beads like hold together better, because I just was not taking any chances that I was going to slob up my cuticle area and either get it not near the cuticle or flooding it with the black. I just wasn't going to do it. So I had my acrylic and my monomer nice and warm so that wouldn't happen. And it worked out great. So I'm going to take some transfer gel from Not Polished. I'm going to put a thin layer on these 2 nails. And I am doing this set different because I wanted the foils to match each other side by side instead of being on the index and the ring and then being opposite the way I did them last time. And I cured this transfer gel for 30 seconds. I don't know what happens if you cure it 60. It just says to cure it for 30. So that's what I do. And then I'm going to place my foils, as you see me here. And I'm going to rub them in. And one actually starts coming off while I'm rubbing it. This is the best foil gel I've ever used. I used to struggle with foils really bad, and I realized later that it was the foil gel glue that I was using, which was several different types, that was causing me the problem. As soon as I tried this, I never had a problem again. It works fabulous. And I didn't make an effort of keeping this exactly the shape I wanted it to be because half of it was going to be covered. Now, one of the things that bothered me about the set that I did before was like again, there wasn't enough foil showing. So this time I only put, see, this is what I meant by it started coming off. I only put, on this set, also I'm going to cover this in matte top coat before I apply any acrylic over this. I've heard you should do that so it doesn't melt the foil, and I've also seen people go right in without doing that. So I'm not sure how true that statement is, but I didn't want it ruined, so I didn't want to take the chance, so I used the matte. You can use gloss it too, but you know, whatever. See these black hearts, how they're transparent? I liked that, but I also wanted some darker ones, which is why I have 2 sets out. Anyway, I'm going to place these hearts with clear and explain what I was trying to do here. So I wanted more of the lace to show. And I remember when I did that set, I put the black halfway down the nail to leave like half the nail worth of foil showing. And so this time I'm like, okay, well, I'm only gonna put the black down like a quarter of the nail. And I did that, maybe a little more than a quarter, because I got carried away doing the application. So basically, I still feel like I need to recreate this set because, so annoying. After I did the black, which was my intent the whole time, to put that gold flaking around it, which is obviously going to make, so anyway, I ended up having like less than half of the nail showing the lace foil, which, so annoying. The foil's so beautiful, I literally would have done something completely different, which this is what drives me crazy, you guys, when I do sets. And I think this makes us better, right? Being our own worst critic, I think, makes us better. If we don't critique ourselves and strive for better, then we're not going to improve, right? But it gets a little frustrating because I literally want to use this foil again and completely do something different. Like not do a color block with it. Like leave the foil completely whole and exposed and like an ombre. Maybe do an ombre or maybe a color block, but only like a French. Oh, that would have been nice. Yeah, so now I want to do one with a French. And I wanted to do stiletto, so I'm going to talk about this shape here. I put a question on my community tab, and here's why. Excuse me. Early in the video here, I put a little note that I was going to refer to this slide later. Well, I'll talk about it now unless I have to interrupt myself to tell you, to mention something I'm doing. By the way, when you are placing things that you want to encapsulate, I like to layer them. I like to stagger them. I like to put them in their own little beads for a couple of reasons. One, it adds dimension when you encapsulate it. It makes them look like they're floating if they're kind of in their own little bead already, and if they're kind of layered with beads between them. When you turn the nail around, once it's done and filed and top coats on everything, it really gives a nice dimension. But also because if you obviously just put a big swath of clear down and tried to get all of these down at once, your clear would be dry in the areas you hadn't placed the glitters at, and then you'd have to add more clear and your nail gets thicker and thicker and thicker. Also, while you're doing this, you should try to maintain your shape and keep patting the acrylic and the glitters down into the shape of your tip so that you don't end up with wide sides, etc. So I'm going to go in with this glitter, spectacular glitter. I had already had the plan on my channel to start recreating some old sets. Pardon me. And when I saw this glitter, and this black set was already one I wanted to do. It was Valentine's, and I already knew weeks ago this was going to be the next set I did. So when I saw this glitter, I knew this is what I was going to use. So I went to place an order and grab it right after the Valentine's, right after Bob Nails' Valentine's collection released, and it wasn't on the website. So I did reach out to Gabby and ask her if she please had one. Could I order something else? And she put this in instead, and she was kind enough to look, and she had one left. So I'm super lucky to have this, super thankful to have this. Thank you, Gabby. Very nice of her. And it just made this set. The hollow glitters in it, oh my gosh, because I have 2 other gold glitters from Not Polish, and I think a couple of gold glitters from Zule. All of them are beautiful. One I have from Not Polish is just like rose gold, and then I have a gold. Oh, I actually have 3 from Not Polish. One's called Boss, Mr. Boss, or I don't know. It's named after Mikey, but I can't think of what it's called now. I'll think of it in a minute. But it's just a really fine gold. Well, that's what I used in the other set, and don't like it. I don't care for that. And then there's 24K, which is beautiful glitter, and I used in one of my kind of recent sets. It has like a pink in it, stunning. But none of them were what I wanted to use for this set. I was going to use the one that I don't really prefer that I just mentioned, that I used in the set I'm recreating here. But that was not what I wanted to do. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. So anyway, I'm really, really grateful to have it. I cured the matte top coat for 60 seconds, by the way, there. And I'm going to go in with the rest of my application. And I forgot what I was saying. Right. So, okay, so that's what it was. Back to me telling you I was going to mention that slide. So you guys can go back and look if you want to refer to what I'm talking about. If you're interested in what I'm going to say, that is the best place to see what I'm going to talk about now. So I put on my community tab, what shape did you guys think this was? What shape did you think I was going for? Be honest, because I didn't care if you said square. I didn't care if you said moon cut, C curve, etc. But I also wanted to use it kind of as a teachable moment. I keep seeing and hearing people commenting like on Instagram and referring to nails that have this shape at the free edge, this sharp cutout at the free edge. That is called a moon cut, and it refers to that cut that is at the free edge. A C curve is something completely different. That is how the nail, you either have a no C curve or C curve nail, and that is how big the arch is, the way the nail tip curves around your finger. It's either flat or it's a C curve. So they're 2 different things. So this set happens to be both C curve and moon cut and square and flared, okay? It's like all of those things going on. So it's too hard to say this is a square set or this is a moon cut or this is a C curve, because all of those things are true. But when you have a square set or a duck set that has this moon cut at the free edge, it's just a moon cut. It's not a C curve. I keep hearing people say that, calling that a C curve or calling a C curve a moon cut. So I just wanted to clear that up as far as, just so you guys know what you're referring to, especially if you're going to go get your nails done somewhere, or if you're going to be buying tips, or if you have your own channel or Instagram and you're posting things. Just, I would never want anybody that I know to say something wrong. Just like if someone has, a booger on their face or something, you're going to tell them they're your friend, right? So just so we have the terms straight, I wanted to straighten that out. Also, being completely transparent, I had a friend of mine, when I showed her these nails, before I posted them and before I was finished with them, sometimes we show each other our nails, like when we're in the middle of a progress or when we're finished, just whatever. We're both nail techs, we show each other our nails. And I happened to use some tips she shared with me, she gave me. Well, I thought I did. I literally didn't realize till I was editing this video that, oh yeah, I forgot I used the not polished tips because they were fitting me better. The last time I did a set that was this shape, this flared straight square, that was a straight square, not a C curve, the other ones, moon cut set, were with Secret Nail Affair tips. And she had given me those. Anyway, when I showed this set, and she was like, oh, wow, those are beautiful, whatever, super nice. And then she said just the word wide. She didn't say they are wide, or they are too wide, or the tips are wide, or I gave you those tips because I didn't like them because they were wide. Just the word wide. So I was like, we don't ever critique each other. Like when I have no problem taking critique, if I asked for it or if I was looking for it. Specifically, one of the reasons I showed this set was because I didn't know if I wanted to do any bling. I had the bling out, I had more bling, and I had charms. I had a bunch of stuff on my table I didn't even show you guys that I was planning on putting all over these nails. But I had some personal things here at home end up happening where I just wanted to get these nails done and off. Kind of had a small tragedy. I might mention it another time, but I'm not going to now. Everything's okay. But for multiple reasons, I changed the design. But at that moment, I was asking, what do you think about bling? Like, basically, am I okay to not put any bling on these? Are they good the way they are? Because I didn't used to put bling on almost any set. But now that I've started doing it, I feel like I can't do sets without it. So anyway, that was the purpose. And I thought, well, what does wide refer to? Because I'm like anal about wide nails. That's my worst nightmare. And these nails, if you go and look at that slide, I told you I'll refer to this later. Those tips have no acrylic on them in that frame. There's no acrylic on them. And you can see that they have a flare. That's part of when you flip this shape tip around, it gets more narrow toward the free edge. That's how the tips are made, because your natural nail is wider than the edge. So if you have a good tip that's shaped right, it should be narrowing out towards your free edge. Well, I flipped these around, right? So they're going to flare. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want duck nails, but I wanted a flare. When I put them on, that was one of the things that got me excited. I was like, yes, these are almost, they have a flare. We're almost, we could almost, not really at all, but almost give a ducky look with the moon cut. I'm obsessed. Love that. So I just didn't know like what she meant. And I thought, okay. And this person, I said, again, good friend, but she's extremely honest to the point of brutal. And I don't mind that. I would prefer someone be honest with me than schmooze me. And that's why I had put also in that post, honest answers only. I didn't want to be schmoozed. But I was not aware if I should, even right now, look at these nails. Do you see the ones with foil on them? Especially the ring finger. It has a flare. It has a flare. However, the index and pinky do not. If you go back to that slide where I said I'm going to refer to this later and look at that shot of the nails with no acrylic, they don't all have a flare, and I didn't notice that. So definitely if someone didn't know what shape you were going for, okay, like for example, if I do, look right here, see the pinky doesn't have a flare. Even the middle doesn't have as big a flare as the ring. Anyway, so, and I'm not being petty. I'm really find this an interesting topic, okay? If I did a stiletto set, there would be no question that they were a stiletto shape. Even if I were a beginner and really didn't have my filing down and my sides were wide or whatever, it would be apparent that that I was trying to do a stiletto. Coffin, not so much. A lot of times those come out looking like tapered square, even when I do them, because that's the nature of the beast. But this was such a conundrum for me, because I was like, no, I was going for a wide look. And anyway, we had a whole conversation about it for like 2 days. And she's like, I understand what you're saying, that that's what you were going for. But what I meant was, how did she say it? I couldn't tell what shape you were going for. They looked wide, and I thought you were going for a straight square. And she's right. And that's not what I was going for at all. I never want my nails to look wide unless I want them to look wide. So yeah, there was this whole thing. And so I had to put it on my channel. I was like, let me see what everybody else thinks, because this is what I was going for. But they all didn't hit that way. So I don't know. It's like a petty conversation. It doesn't have any value. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a meaningful topic. But in the nail tech world, like, even look at this middle finger I'm doing right here. It doesn't look like it has a flare. That's a pretty straight nail. Now look at the ring. Do you not see that flare there? And I see a flare in the index and thumb for sure. And that was before my shaping and before my application. So the conclusion I reached is the tips aren't all the same. That's just flat out what it is. Now, do you see here where I'm putting this black? First of all, let's go back and talk about how beautifully this black went on in my cuticle area. I was holding my breath. And it worked out perfectly. It was almost too warm. But I would rather have it like that than messy. Gosh, it's just my nemesis. Anyway, you see here that I have this completely right down the half of the nail, which is exactly why I wanted to redo this set so that I didn't do that. Yep. Yeah. So this will be a set I probably do again. Maybe in a different color. Maybe, not maybe. I will do it in a different color. Well, I don't know what other color lace I have. Oh, yeah, I got some from Lucy. It's not foil, but I have a lot of lace. I have like hot pink. Oh, yeah, I'm going to redo this in some way, and redeem myself on the third try. But yeah, and this line that I'm making down the middle of the nail, not a third or a quarter of it, is jagged on purpose. I was not trying to make it straight, just FYI. And this is a trust the process set as far as building the cutout. And yeah, I don't know what I was thinking because I still have to put foil here, the gold foils, to outline this. And then I planned on using the gold liner gel just because I came across it and I was like, yes, this is going to look great. And when I was putting that on, I wanted it to look like jagged and sharp like the nails do. And I'm not sure I got that either. It kind of looked a little messy. So yeah, I have created another set that now I want to recreate again. Do you guys do this to yourself? I don't know. I think it makes for improvement though, because like I said, if we don't learn from our own mistakes, what's the point, you know? I think if we broaden our minds and if we are open-minded people, we can learn from other people's mistakes. I left this in here so I can show you how much enhancer and how much of the neutralizer I was putting in. I don't ever measure it. I just squirt it in there. And if I need more, I need more. Or I add more. But this black was working like a champ. It just made me so happy. Let's see. What else do I got to tell you guys? Oh. So, you guys know, or maybe you don't. I've showed Jack before, and I've talked about Jack before, my puppy. He's a Jack Russell Terrier. He is 11 months old, so he's almost a year old. And if you guys know dogs or anything about dog breeds, terriers are, especially Jack Russells, they're rat terriers, meaning they are bred to hunt. I don't know what, like haven't done my 100% research either, but I do know that terriers are bred to hunt. They're very good dogs at ferreting out any critters, right? Well, when we were looking at this house before we bought it, and I came here the first time to look at it with the realtor, naturally I went into the backyard and off into the forest, a little bit. But right in our backyard where we have grass now, but it's, not beautiful and green. It's winter. And here on this nail, by the way, I had realized that I covered up too much of the other nail, so I was trying to go thin. But yeah, it just wasn't giving. I forgot to say, I was saying this earlier, I really am craving doing a stiletto set. I want to do a stiletto set so bad. And every time I go to do a set, I pull out stiletto tips because that's what I'm going to use. And then I talk myself out of it because whatever design I want to do, there is not enough room on the stiletto to do that. So that's why I've been doing so many squares lately, you guys, by the way. Anyway, I walked into the backyard, and the minute I stepped off the porch onto the grass, my feet sank into the grass. It was spongy. And I told Vanessa later, I'm like, yeah, because she was going to come see the house 2 days later with me again, so she could see it because I liked it. So I wanted her to come see it. I was here with the realtor by myself. And I told her, when we get there, I want you to, because Tucson, We had grass in our Tucson yard, but we laid down sod, and it was just a little patch that we planted ourselves. So it wasn't like here where every yard has grass or it just grows naturally or whatever, you know. So I just, and I'm not used to, like, I mean, the soil in Arizona, you can't even get a shovel and dig in the ground. It's hard as a rock. It is rock. You need some sort of machinery to dig any further than like more than a foot down into the ground. So walking on spongy earth, I wasn't sure if there was something wrong with the grass or the ground, or if it was literally just sodden, or if maybe we had like a flooding issue. I wasn't sure. So I wanted Ness to walk on it, feel it, and let me know, like, what is this that I'm feeling? I had never felt it before. And she grew up in a little town in Louisiana, like 2 hours south of here. So she's from around here, basically. First time she stepped on it, she said, "Oh, we got critters." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? Like, I'm not buying a house with critters." And she's like, "Well, obviously there's not critters in the house, but this house has been vacant for a long time, so yeah. Whatever kind of critter is tunneling around here, they like the grass roots, especially in the winter. They can tunnel in and eat all winter long the sweet roots of the grass." And I'm like, "What? That's why it's spongy? Like, there's that many tunnels? Like, the whole backyard is spongy like that." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, we got critters." I'm like, "Well, what kind of critters? And what do we do about it?" And she's like, "Oh, as soon as we put up a fence and, you know, till the earth and get a garden going and, like, all the things we want to do," she's like, "they'll go away. And if they don't, we'll get an exterminator. We'll figure it out." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, what kind of critters?" She's like, "Oh, I don't know. Could be anything. Armadillos, anything." I was like, "Armadillos? What? They're, like, under the ground?" And, like, you know, etc. So anyway, I've known that since before we bought the house, that we have critters out there. Well, I walk Jack out there, and I have to walk him on a leash because we don't have a fence. And it's the woods, you know. There's wild pigs, there's raccoons, possums. I don't want him running into anything. If I'm out there walking him and he's not on a leash and he catches the scent of something, or there is a critter that runs up a tree or just whatever, I could lose him, you know. So no, he is on a leash every time I take him out of the house. So I'm walking him in a leash. We go through the backyard, and he just stops dead, stares at the ground, and his little ears are pointing straight at the ground. So I know he hears something tunneling around in there. I know he hears one of the critters. This is like day one that we're here. He knows there's stuff in the dirt. And the poor little baby, I told you guys, got a tick on him. And then he got another tick. And we had to take him to the groomers to get his nails trimmed. And when he got a tick, his little collar gave him a sore neck. And he just had a hard time, you know. He's had a hard time. So the other day, Ness and I were both looking around the backyard, deciding, like, pacing out where we were going to have the fence. We called a guy to come put a fence in for us, and he's getting us a quote right now. And so we were out there just with Jack, walking around, talking about where we were going to put a fence and would it block my view from the kitchen window and woo-woo. And meantime, we're standing there with Jack on the leash, and I realize he's kind of tugging on me. And I look down, and he is digging for all of his life, digging in the ground, digging and digging and digging. And we just started laughing. It was hilarious because he had heard and smelled some, whatever those critters are down there. And we just thought it was delightful and adorable. And like I said, he's been having a hard time. So we let him dig to his heart's content because we're pulling all that up anyway in that area. We're going to make a garden and etc. Plus, around here, literally that hole's gone now. I don't know what filled it in. Rain, a critter, I don't know. It's just like wild around here. So it just didn't matter. So that was cute. It was adorable. He's never going to catch whatever it is because he's intruding on their home, right? They have warrens and miles of tunnels that obviously, if whatever's down there hears something digging at their tunnel, they're going to run. They're going to get away. Like, they're not... He's a predator, right? They're not going to just lay there and chill and wait for him to attack. Like, he's not going to get anything, right? So we're laughing at that. That's so cute. The next day we come out, he does it again. He finds another spot because now he's on it, right? So he finds another spot, like on the other side of the yard. He goes to dig in, and it's so cute. His whole body's rigid, and he's just going at it. This bead, by the way, was a little too dense, and it almost got away from me because of my warm monomer. But I made it through. Anyway, So yeah, he's just digging his heart's content, super adorable. That was like 5 days ago, the last time he dug a little hole. We let him do it twice. And I ended up telling Ness, hey, we probably shouldn't let him do that because although it's cute and it was cute one or two times, we probably shouldn't let him do that because I really don't want him, like, once we don't have critters, once we have a fence, once we have a nice yard and a garden and grass, I don't want him doing that anymore, you know? And he's an animal after all, so it's going to be something we have to break him of doing, and he's by nature going to want to do it. So let's just kind of discourage that. And if he starts sniffing or digging, we'll just redirect him, go in the other way. Woo. So we decided all of that, her and I. 2 nights ago, I'm in the kitchen making cornbread. Vanessa's outside walking the dog. She calls my phone, which is super weird. Like, she's right on I can look out the kitchen window and see her. She said, I need you to come out here right now. So I put my phone down. I didn't even hang it up. I just put it down, put my shoes on, and went outside. And she's standing there holding Jack as far as she can away with the leash, like arm's length extended. He's completely rigid. She is stepping on something, Vanessa. And she said, I need you to get Jack. I need you to get him right now. So I come over and she's like, be careful. I don't want him to like snap at you or anything. And I said, what's going on? This is all happening like super fast. And she says, he pulled up a mole. And I said, what? And she said, he got a mole. And I was like, are you fucking kidding? Are you kidding me? She's like, no, get him away. So I picked him up and took him in the house, and his whole body, he was so hard to hold because he was rigidly craning his entire body, like behind me, trying so hard to see, his prey. I could not, for the life of me, I still can't believe that he caught one. So yeah, that's what we have in our backyard are moles. Have you guys ever seen a mole? They don't have eyes. Okay? I think this is a fact that most people know, like moles don't have eyes. But I've never seen one. And not on the daily do I think of things like, yeah, moles don't have eyes. So even though I know that in the back of my mind, it was very creepy to see a mole and to see that they actually legit don't have eyes. And its little pink searching nose and their front feet are literally paddles. Like I can't swallow. They're gross. Like paddles, their front feet just for digging. Oh my God. So yeah, our whole backyard is full of moles. And thank God Jack is smart, because each time I take him out now, he is right on the hunt. His ears forward, nose to the ground, and each time I tell him, don't do that, he stops it, or I'll tell him, shoo, no. And he immediately stops. He'll pick his head up and, Oh my gosh, you guys. So, yeah, it's been an adventure. So I told you we have a trail cam. Look at this! I didn't even realize that I missed the application there, and I messed up the moon cut here, so I'm going to have to do it. Do you guys get lines when you file with an e-file? Do you get lines like this in your acrylic? This drives me nuts. This is why I like to hand file. But I did e-file these nails for the most part, and then I went over them with my hand file. I literally legit cannot do a set if I don't hand file. Sometimes I hand file them all the way except for like sealing the cuticle. And Gabby said something in her last video that's so true that I've never wanted to really say, but she said it and I will agree with her 100%. The cuticle does not have to be sealed if your application's good, you guys, especially if you're starting with a clear layer where, pardon me. Now, this is if you know what you're doing, and if you are laying your acrylic correctly, and if your cuticle bead is melting just right, if it is the right consistency, like if it's not too dry or too wet, you haven't touched any skin. Like literally, if you lay your cuticle bead right, and if your clear layer underneath that is laid right, you're not going to get lifting. If your prep is right, you're not going to get lifting. If your primer is right, you're not going to get lifting. The cuticle needs to be sealed, yes, but it can be done on application. It does not have to be done with your e-file. So I think that when we're learning and when we are beginners and when someone like myself is making a video where I know that beginners might be watching or learning from me, I think we say it because it is important to make sure that that cuticle is sealed. But it doesn't have to be done with your e-file. This right here I wanted to show you guys. I wonder if it already went by. I keep going over this spot right here. Watch how my e-file skips right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. There's bumps there. This is not straight despite it looking straight. See how it's waggling? That's why I keep waggle. It does it right there. That's why I keep going over it until it does it one smooth time without skipping. It's another way you can tell that your nail is straight. You know how when you put your file down, if it turns white, that's where you are filing, but if it's not white, you need to go in at it more. That's kind of the same thing with the e-file. If you feel it not being flush, if that makes sense. Anyway, gosh, I had so many things I wanted to tell you guys about application and doing a set while I was making this video, but yet again, I talked all the way through it. Anyway, yeah. If you guys don't understand what I said about sealing the cuticle, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to explain more or go over it with you. But Gabby did say it, and I remember just listening like, yes, I've been thinking that for years and I just didn't know if that was just me or, yeah, she's right. She's right. Thank you, Gabby. So, nails are done. I am cleaning them off. I dusted them off, cleaning them off with swipe, getting all the dust away. I'm going to go in with matte it and gloss it. And, like, I can see this thumb here flares because my filing and application was not... I could tell when I was putting these hearts on that I was too wide with this one. That is definitely for sure. But it kind of looked okay because I was doing, like I said, going for a flared look. Although I just didn't hit it. It didn't hit on every nail. Some were square, some were straight, and some were flared. So, you might see me doing something similar to this set. I have some Hello Kitty, some hot pink Hello Kitty foils I've really been wanting to use. Another recreation because I have the perfect color that literally matches the foils exactly, and they're so freaking cute. And it's getting ready to be summer. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. So this is how they are looking with matte. And I'm going to go in with gloss it. So yeah, I probably will do some version of this, but with hot pink and Hello Kitty. Or the other, not foils, lace I have. So I put gloss it underneath. Anytime you have a clear set or you've encapsulated something. I used to think that step wasn't necessary, but I didn't do it one time, and it really makes a difference. It just... I don't know. It really makes a difference. So always do that, you guys. But make it thin. If you do a thick layer, as in like, oh, that's just underneath, I don't care, I can just slob it on, because I used to do that too. I don't know, it doesn't look right. It looks like warbled is kind of the word I'm thinking of. So also the reason I'm not going in super precise with the matte or the glossy is because I plan on using that gold liner gel. Look at this glitter. Oh, I have never seen another glitter like it. And like I said, I have 4 or 5 glitters. Now, these palettes from Marcy. I showed you the large one in my last video. This small one is just as handy, and they come together. She has changed her pricing and the way she sells these. She sells them single and as a bundle now, and they come with the teddy bear stand, which I still haven't unpacked. When I find it, I will show you guys. It's so adorable. So you can get them separately or together. And when I say did I say she raised her prices? I don't remember. I mean from like when she first started selling them, like over a year ago, I think. Some people sell these just one large one, not with the small one and the teddy bear stand, for $100. So $100 just went ludicrous, okay? Yeah, she's much more reasonably priced. Go get one from her, and she'll make it what color you want. She'll make it glossy or matte. Adorable. All right, here's how the nails are looking. Not at all how I wanted them to come out, but whatever. So I had a bling conundrum, as I mentioned. So I just couldn't resist using these blings because they were just so perfect, and it was part of what I wanted to do with the set was use that bling. Oh. I got this from Sugarty Clips, you guys. I finally got something from her because she was so kind to send a beautiful package. Here's her channel. I'll leave it linked. to Kendra, and in the package she gave me a cuticle oil. It smells so good and it's so luscious. You guys go hit her up, get some cuticle oil. She also sells spectacular glitters. Just watch her channel. I'm going to link Marcy and Crystal's channel in here, okay? Cuticle oil was beautiful, delicious, smells fantastic, not too oily, just right. Also, it is hypoallergenic. I don't want to use that word. I really don't know what I'm saying when I say hypoallergenic. But basically, if you're like allergic to lavender or aloe or anything, none of that's in there. Because Kendra is, and I had to ask her about that, and she said she is too herself. So she's very careful about what she puts in there. You guys, this is the set. I appreciate you all for being here. I appreciate you for watching. I will not see you next time. Yes, I will, but I'm not going to say that yet because after this, I'm going to snap these off. But I will quit talking because I talk in that part. So this is the set. I don't know why I said that. Thank you guys for being here. See you guys next time. And for the worst part. Here we go.
See, when clear acrylic or something gets right there, that is what might be what jams you up as far as the pop-off. See, this is your pop-off layer right here. This is your peel-off base coat. This. See it? See how strong that is? And it being under there is what does this.